Hi there, Tamara Dorris, your real estate coach. And I want to talk today about scripts. Are they critical or are they crap? Ooh, good question, right? So, one of the things I talk about quite a bit is that scripts suck. And I want to be really crystal clear on what I mean on the side of saying that scripts are crap. Now, I heard someone today say, and this is like a big, huge top producing agent, like big in the world, huge top producing agent, who said, scripts are more effective at you than closing deals. And I'm like, what? Because from my position and what I've seen 30 years in the business and teaching thousands of agents, is that there is an in between. There's what I call a semi script. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to point out that if you are going on solid scripts in all of your community, in your prospecting, your lead gen, your client conversion conversations, your closing conversations, you are being a robot. And I don't care how much artificial intelligence is a thing now. People do not want to do business with robots. They just don't. If you are just rattling off a script, the person on the other side of it is going to be able to detect it. If you are not emoting any, being genuine and authentic and transparent, and, I use NLP, which is like the most brilliant thing in the world for communicating. It helps communicate, not to trick people or hypnotize people or anything like that. But if you really are understanding and you understand consumer psychology and you're reading the person that you're communicating with, and you just understand psychology in general, then you know that solid scripts are not good. They're very bad because people will just walk away. They don't want anything to do with it. And you can say, well, Tamara, but this top producer, he sells 5 million houses a year and he swears by scripts. Well, that's because in our paradigm of where you fit in as an agent, that's the one that I call, well, that's the one that I consider that does more door knocking and cold calling. And that's the person that's meant to do that. And that's okay. But 90% of the agents out there are not. I would go so far as to say 95%, but I don't have evidence for that. So I'm going to say a solid 90 for sure. So if I don't want you to say a script, what's a semi-script? A semi-script is where you have your response or your supporting points in mind, but you cater them, number one, how they come out. You use a language that corresponds to the person you're communicating with. So delivery is customized. You cater it to what their situation is. So that's customized. So let me give you an example. If you had a seller, what is the first objection with sellers? The first objection is their price. Their house is worth so much more than that, right? And I will tell you, in a real estate Facebook group where we have, what is it called? The Real Estate Mastermind, where there's like 287,000 people. I did a post and said, show me a gift for when your seller says, but my house is worth so much more than that. And I had like 870 responses, 870 gifts or something like that. People responded to that. Why? Because agents know that sellers think their home is valued higher. It's just a fact. So we know, and we all think the same thing, right? Like, okay. Actually, you should look that post up because it was really funny. A lot of funny gifts from all sorts of fun movies. My point is, you may have a script, and I'm not gonna talk about any particular coaches, but I've been through all of them over, for 30 years, many coaches. So I know how they all operate, and it could be like, well, Mr. Seller, I know you have a lovely home, and I just want to point out that these comps will show you blah, 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 blah. And it's like a robot. Whereas if you're just naturally communicating with the seller and you're like, no, you do have a great house. It is a great house. I especially like that. Now I'm customizing it. I'm also keeping in mind, what is that seller's motivation? Are they selling their home because they want to move to be near their grandkids? Or are they selling their home because they're getting divorced? Two different conversations, two different motivations. And this isn't about selling them, because that makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth when someone says sell and close. I'm talking about speaking to your client where they're at. And a person getting a divorce is at a way different mental, emotional, psychological place than a person who's excited to move and, wants to go be with their grandkids. Totally different. So I'm not doing it so I can close a deal. I'm doing it so I can communicate, connect, bond, and build rapport with that person. I would rather have one client who loves and adores me and will refer the hell out of me than 5 quickies who are going to say, man, she was salesy and slimy. But we'll give her the deal just because we're in a hurry. And if you fall into that category, then that's fine. Use a script. Use 10 scripts. But if I can say to them, speak to them where they're at, at their level, at their motivation, being very authentic and transparent. And I'm not going to use the same script. Of course, the pricing objection is always going to be related to comps and what the appraiser is going to look at, and compromise. And of course, I'm always going to advise agents, do not overprice a listing. It's a small world. Other agents won't like you, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, people will know if you are rattling off a script that you've learned by heart. And I say this, and I'm probably not, seasoned agents know this. I'm not talking to seasoned agents here. I'm probably talking more to newer agents, or agents who are not selling houses, who are trying to use scripts and it's not working. Is your script, your semi-script should be the reason, but it shouldn't have all the words to it. You should articulate it differently for different people based on the situation. Does that make sense? You're not going to say the same thing to every single person. And when you do, what happens? It starts to lose meaning because it's just the same words tumbling out of your mouth. And you don't think that the person you're talking to is going to pick up on that? Absolutely. They're going to read your energy. And that's what this is all about, right? I always say your most important asset is your certainty. And certainty emits a frequency of confidence, of competency, a high energy, and people want to be around that. So, are scripts critical or crappy? Or if you combine the script with a la natural and you go in the middle, semi-scripts, I think they can be very, very useful. Hope you found this helpful. Subscribe, click a link, see what I got going on below, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.